Hi, welcome to Captain's Quarters Podcast once again. It is February 13th, and a big cheer to each and every one of you. And you may see a new face here. She's got herself muted right now. I think she can hear us. If you can hear us, shake your head. Yes, very good. Hi, we'll be talking a little bit about her in just a little bit, but she is a new crew member to this crew and going to be a big help because we're going to make her work. But for now, as we always say, go to YouTube, Captain's Quarters Podcast. There's the VR code, CR code, whatever the code is. You know I'm not technically savvy. But scan that code and go right to us. And if you do go to us, then like us, hit the little bell, make sure you're paying attention. And every week at 8 o'clock, you'll get, shortly before, you'll get a little reminder so you can tune into the show. And every week is different. Tonight we've got some great guests on, and we're going to talk about some more pirate things that are happening here in this area. So, go to YouTube, Captain's Quarters Podcast, like us, hit the bell, join us, and be a part of our crew. And for now, a cheer. Yes, sir. That, ladies and gentlemen, is typical and traditional of what we do for this show. And it is a local distillery, City Gates Distillery, and this was their coconut rum. It was an extra bottle that came out of the Old City Pirate Fest. They donated a bunch of rum for us so we could help raise extra money. And that's where you're going to hear about some of the money tonight, where it went. Last week was Inc., Investing in Kids, which we gave them a donation. And tonight, we have some other people we've given a donation to. But for now, let's not talk about that and give it all away. Let's do our Captain's Quarters in memory of our 8 bells. Bud Freeman Bacharach. Oh, I did not know that he had passed away. A composer, songwriter, and record producer and pianist. He was quite famous and did quite a few things that many of you probably know. And Larry Coyer, an American football coach. He served as a defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts of the National Football League from 2009 to 2011. Prior to that, he was the assistant head coach for Tampa Bay Buccaneers and defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos and New Mexico State. So, as always, are those the only two, Mr. Davey?
Yes.
Very good. Let's give them our 8 bells. Very good. Cheers. And to all the fans that knew them and all the fans that worshipped behind them, we say our hearts. Cheers. Now, what's next? Yes, Captain's Quarters Podcast, quote of the week. We are not permitted to choose the frame of our destiny, but what we put into it is ours. That's a very good one. I like that one. We are not permitted to choose the frame of our destiny, but what we put into it is ours. That is a great, great saying, and if you translated it, you don't know what's going to happen, but all the things you do will make it happen. I like that. Very good, Mr. Davey.
Thank you.
So you got a Valentine video, don't you?
About the history of Valentine's Day, yes.
Yes. Go ahead and play that real quick, and then we'll do our question of the week, which is Valentine's.
Valentine's Day is one of America's most popular holidays. More than 62% of Americans celebrate by sending greeting cards and flowers, giving candy or other gifts, enjoying romantic dinners, or all three. But the history behind Valentine's Day turns out to be somewhat surprising. For example, the roots of Valentine's Day go all the way back to a raucous ancient Roman fertility festival held in mid-February called Lupercalia. Later, the Christian Church chose mid-February for St. Valentine's Day in order to Christianize the celebration. But who was St. Valentine? Not much is known about the holiday's namesake. First of all, there was more than just one Christian cleric named Valentine. One of them was sentenced to death for performing marriage ceremonies in secret after Emperor Claudius II banned marriage for young Roman men, thinking single men made better soldiers. Pope Gelasius declared February 14 as a day for honoring the soft-hearted Valentine at the end of the 5th century. It wasn't until the 1300s, though, that the holiday became definitively associated with love and romance. Back then, people believed that February 14th was also the beginning of birds' mating season. The first written Valentine greetings appeared in the 15th century, and by the 17th century, people in Great Britain had begun a tradition of exchanging Valentine's Day cards or letters. Valentine's Day soon caught on in the US as well. The first mass-produced holiday cards emerged in the 1840s, and Valentine's Day soon exploded into a major consumer holiday. Today, an estimated 1 billion Valentine cards are sent each year, more than on any other holiday except for Christmas. More than 35 million heart-shaped boxes of chocolate are sold, and more than 220 million roses are produced for the holiday in a typical year. Altogether, Americans spend almost $20 billion on Valentine's Day, or an average of some $130 per person per year. While the most popular gifts were candy and flowers, nearly 20% of Americans splurge on jewelry, shelling out as much as $4 billion annually. And those who prefer the ultimate romantic gesture are definitely not alone. A recent survey revealed that as many as 6 million couples are likely to get engaged on February 14th, continuing a long romantic history that we bet you didn't know.
Well, how about that? That's very good, useful information, which goes right in hand with our question of the week. Who puts more effort into Valentine's Day? The ladies or the men? Let's see what our answers are later on in the show. We hope that we'll have some really good answers by then. I see we have quite a few people watching the show, so let's see what we have. For now, though, we've gone through question of the week, but let's do crew adventures, starting with the St. Augustine Swashbucklers and what's on the list for what we have. The Celtic Festival, March 11th and 12th. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers will be there manning our yearly opportunity to have a beer tent and providing the beer and whiskey that is needed to have a great Celtic festival. The Seafood Festival is March 25 and 26. The Swashbucklers will be manning Spanish Landing with a complete pirate ship and entertainment through the whole weekend. Captain Mayhem will be doing magic shows at both the Celtic and the Seafood Festival. We are planning an acting seminar in April. It is for all pirates, reenactors, tour guides, anybody that works with the public. And we talk about the various ideas on how to present yourself in public to all the different tourists we have that come to St. Augustine. It is very helpful, and I've had many pirates have sent me messages saying that acting seminar actually helped them in developing character, traits, and ideas. So that's a good thing. Sometime in June, either the Saturday before or the Saturday after the 21st, we're still trying to peg the date down, we'll be doing a Midsummer Night's Dream, a Shakespearean festival, not pirate. And our great spooktacular. All those years we did it in the backyard of Captain Mayhem, myself. Then we moved it to the Colonial Quarter this last year, and in fact the people we're giving some money to helped us with that. They're coming in tonight on the show in just a few minutes, and they helped us with the Spooktacular and Old City Pirate Festival. And this year we're going to try to run it for at least 5 nights. We'll see what happens on the grounds of the Colonial Quarter, and of course every Monday night, 8 p.m., the Captain's Quarters podcast, where we share all kinds of things. History, things going on in the community, charity work, and we want to help any and all businesses be a part of our show. So, ladies and gentlemen, join us if you will. Let's make the announcement with Mandy there. There she is right there. We'll do that real quick. So we have decided to bring in one more person because Mandy has been helping us out greatly for the past, 2 months now at least?
Since December, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So, and she has some knowledge on how YouTube actually works when you're doing one of these podcasts, and found all kinds of things that were bogging down our system, bogging down our popularity, and keeping us from doing what we wanted to do. She was able to go through and fix some of those things, and with advice. And she knows all this because she has a daughter that has a Facebook, a YouTube channel that actually is monetized. And how old is that little lady? 10 years old, right?
She's 8.
8 years old. And she was here in January because she was one of our mermaids in the mermaid tent at Old City Pirate Fest. So we've decided to bring Mandy in, and Mandy's title will be the ship's cartographer, which is the person that maps out everything and provides it to the ship's navigator, so the ship's navigator can keep us on course. So that will be her job right there. Looks like she may have froze up. Oh well, I guess the good news just caught her so well. But now Mandy, and we'll probably be calling her Madcap Mandy. Yeah, we like that name, but if she decides another one, we'll work on that and we'll see what happens.
Having fun.
Yes. 2 other things we want to talk about. The great murder mystery down in Palm Coast by the Seawolf Privateers. It was a great time. Did you do a video for it, David?
Yeah, there's so many pictures I had to do one of those little after things.
Do a little video for it, and we'll... They raised quite a bit of money. I've talked to the captain of the crew, but I'm not going to steal his thunder and tell you, but they did very well. They'll be posting that later on. They do all their money for the foster children of Flagler County, and they do quite a bit. They're planning on another one of these in the fall. We're going to be so busy with other things, I don't think Mr. Davey and myself can help them with this one, but we'll see what happens down the road. We hope to maybe help them out in some way, shape, or form. So that was a lot of fun. One other thing we want to tell you about. Our Miss Gina, who was in those pictures, is doing a blood drive this weekend on the 19th from 10 till 2. And it is at the corner of US 1 and Ponce de Leon Boulevard. The blood drive wagon will be out there, and her lovely ladies of the Sirens Pirate Lady crew will be out there waving flags and getting people to come in and donate some blood. This will be maybe the 7th or 8th blood drive we've done in the last 10 years. So go out there and join them, give some blood, and have a good time. You never know, you might get some prizes. They may have some good prizes there. But join them for that. It'll be a grand time. On that note, it's time to bring our guest in. What do you say, Mr. Davey? From the St. John's Fire and Rescue of St. Augustine, Florida, I have to put on my glasses so I can make sure I do this proper. I don't want to make a mistake here. We have, from the St. John's Fire Department, Greta Hall, who is the Public Information Officer, and Tony Alfiero, who is the lead advisor for the cadet program, and that's how we got all involved. Welcome to the show, Tony and Greta, if it's okay if I use first names. Very good. We welcome you to the show. So, you kind of know, but we'll go ahead and make it public to everybody else. The cadets helped us with security and some manual labor at Old City Pirate Fest. And in trade, instead of taking advantage of child labor and getting in trouble with the world, we've decided to make a donation to you. And that donation is a $500 check towards the cadet program. And I have it, and we'll make sure you get it. As we talked about earlier before the show, in pre-show, maybe you can come down to the Pirate Museum and we'll take a good picture of me handing over the check to you, and then you can put it on your advisory and go from there. some of that money was supposed to go to an event you did this past weekend, but I'm sure that it'll just filter in and work its way in through the whole thing anyway. Isn't that right, Tony?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so let's talk about the cadet program. So you're the lead advisor for the cadet program.
I am.
How many cadets do you have?
We have just about 30 cadets right now.
Well, that's good. That's more than you had when we did the Halloween event.
Yes, we grew.
Very good, very good. And the cadet program is kind of like, and forgive me if I use this as a comparison because people may understand then, the cadet program for the fire department is kind of like the explorers program for the sheriff's department. Am I right?
Yes. Yep, same age.
Pretty close?
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. So what is the purpose of the cadet program then?
So we are helping young men and women aged 14 to 21 learn about the fire service. I would say about 90% of our cadets want to be firefighters and are going to go to fire school in the next couple of years. We have a few who are interested in the military, and really it's just a leadership program. We just want to teach them some life skills and have fun while doing it.
Very good, very good. I happen to know one of your cadets will be leaving soon, probably at the end of this school year, to go into the Marine Corps.
That is his hope. He hasn't been accepted yet, but he does. Military is his goal.
Well, he's a good trooper. He did really well helping us out. Very responsible lad, and I enjoyed having him around. And I'm proud to say that now we can be friends with him and support his move into the United States Marine Corps, because I'm a veteran, and I truly believe that military duty for all our young people should be something high on the list for them to do. Even if they only do it for a 4 or 6 year program, all our young people should really do it. It really does help. So that's a good thing. You don't have just the cadet program is a mix. It is both men, young teenage boys and young teenage girls, right? It's both male and female.
Correct. It's co-ed.
Well, that's very good. And so, Greta, from a public relations standpoint, does this bring in even better, what's the word I want to use here? Better karma for the fire department? Not that the fire department or the police department or the sheriff's department really needs it, but does this really give some more positive spins to throw out there to the public to see that your community involved with it?
I think the Explorer program has brought another aspect to give a way, an outlet for young people to really get their hands into the fire service and see what it's all about. A lot of people really don't know the day-to-day, and these kids are bright, they're smart, they're energetic, and they go forward and they talk about how the fire service is. And anytime that you can get that kind of engagement from that age group is always beneficial.
Sorry about that. My phone just went wild for some reason, and I still can't figure out why. So, with 30 cadets, are you within? So this isn't attached to any of the high schools in St. Johns County, is it?
No, we've gone. Go ahead, Greta.
I was going to say, go ahead, Tony.
We've gone into the high schools to show them that we have cadets. But the cadet program itself is separate from the high schools.
And you have a hierarchy. You have officers. You have a chain of command, correct?
A small chain of command. Right now we have one lieutenant. We're hoping to expand that to a captain with 3 lieutenants.
Very, very cool. So, in the cadet program, do they do anything in conjunction with the fire departments of St. Johns County?
We do. A lot of our advisors are firefighters. Actually, all of our advisors pretty much are firefighters, and we do a lot of training with them.
So they do ride along. This is a fairly new program. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay.
So they do ride-alongs then?
Yes, they can go on ride-alongs.
That's very cool. The program is new, but let's tell everybody how long this program has been actually in effect.
We're right at 1 year in January.
Very good. 1 year. I like this program, and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers is going to continue doing things with the cadet program, asking them to be a part of some of our events, and then in trade turn around and make donations back to the cadet program so that we can help. Now, do they get credit for community service also?
They do. One of their goals is to get something called the 5 Bugles Award. It takes about 2 years to complete. One of the requirements is that they have to do 100 service hours within those 2 years. And then a few of our kids are hoping to use the Bright Future Scholarship to either go to college or pay for fire and EMT school.
Very good. So, as I struggle to find a couple of really good questions as I'm thinking about it, who brought this idea for the cadet program up to be started? Was it within the department? Was it the chief, or was it the deputy? Who brought this program in to make this program start up about a year ago and now start to flourish? How did it come about? That is the better way to ask the question. How did it come about?
That's a great question. So we actually used to have explorers, fire explorers, before my time. Greta, you might be able to touch on that a little bit, but this is more of a revitalization.
So,
Greta, do you want to?
So there was a program similar to this in the past. Is that what we're saying, Greta?
Yes, there was a program a few years ago, and I wish I could nail down the date for you, but it was very small. It was the start of trying to organize a program like this together. And then as we processed through, we made adjustments to it. And then when this past year came around, we did an open house at Station 5, which is our station right there on US 1. Had every aspect of the fire service presented, invited the public to come in with children who were interested. And we did a lot of sign up that day and really kind of moved forward from that point, introducing them to, like I said before, all of the aspects of the fire service. And the advisors who are firefighters, they are really great about spending that time and communicating with the explorers, which is a huge benefit to them.
You said Station 5. Is that the new station down there on US 1?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination sheriff and fire station, correct?
Yes, it is. So one half has the sheriff's office and the other half houses the fire department. And what most people don't see is behind it, there's actually a fire training little tower for the employees, and they do a lot of training there.
Yeah, that's the one that has the flashing yellow light that
Everybody stops at.
I've seen a couple of near accidents because of that blooming light. But it's a necessity, and most of the time I would lay a 100% bet that almost every time there's an accident, it's because of either one of two things: people aren't paying attention, which they need to do while they're driving, or it's somebody from out of town that doesn't know anything about what's going on in the area. So, oh well. But so, how big is the St. Johns County Fire Department right now?
Currently, we have 415 members. That's both civilian and certified employees. We have 17 stations throughout St. Johns County. So we are continuing to expand like our population.
Well, as the population of St. Johns County grows, so must the sheriff, the police, and the fire department. They must grow too.
Absolutely. So we have some, hopefully some expansion coming in the next few years, which will help again with that population growth.
So Mason and Mandy, if you see anything in the comment section that pops up that is pertinent to what we're talking about, please pop it into the screen or let David know so he can do it, so that we can add other people's comments and suggestions or even their questions, so that Miss Greta and Miss Tony can inform us more on all the things that we're curious about with this program. Well, like I said, both the male and the female of the cadet program were extremely helpful for us during the Halloween event we did, setting it up and building it, and then maintaining security points for us. And then again at Old City Pirate Festival, because the grounds of the Colonial Quarter has 6, 7, 8 different entrances into it, and we can't use all of them if we're doing a ticketed event. So we have to close some of them down, or at least guard people from coming in. Doesn't always work that way. People will give all kinds of stories to get in for free on things, and even like Old City Pirate Festival was only $8 for adults, and still people want to argue with it. So the cadets were great helping us do that. Here's some of the Explorer program also provides a pool of candidates later who have extensive training and knowledge of the law enforcement and fire programs. I know because I started as a law enforcement explorer. That's Jim Neuenfeld, a tour guide and I believe retired law enforcement here in St. Johns County, if I remember right. And we talk a lot when he's doing tours or bringing tours to the Pirate Museum, where I do all the tours at the Pirate Museum with the help of 4 or 5 other pirates. I don't do them all, but I do have help. So tell me, Tony, do you have a particular goal for the cadet program? Anything in mind that you're looking at for the future with the program?
Right now, we're just trying to see where like a good number of cadets is. We're finding 30 is a pretty manageable number. We might expand it a little bit larger. I'd like to focus more on medical skills. The last few months, we did a lot of fire training for the competition, and we sort of let medical skills take a back seat, and I'd like to get back to that this spring.
So if this is a question that I am going to ask because I'm more familiar with like ROTC programs because I was in the military. If an explorer, when they become an adult or age available to become a firefighter, when they go through their training to be a firefighter, do they get credits for being in the explorer program added into their training program?
Our department doesn't have anything like that right now. There are some departments in the state that if they got the 5 Bugles Award I mentioned earlier, it might give them a point or 2 towards their like interview.
Right.
What we're really hoping and what we're soon to see in the next few years is that our program will just help them through fire and EMT school. They'll be more prepared. They'll feel more confident. And just really be knowledgeable about the job.
Is there anything else that myself, the podcast, and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers can do to help you? Is there other things that we can do to be a part of this fine program?
Service hours and fundraising is great. What you've done so far, we've been really appreciative.
Well, we'd like to continue being that part. I foresee we have another Halloween event. We've already got the schedule for that. We've got the schedule for next year's Old City Pirate Fest. And we have some other events on the burner for down the road that we would use the cadet program for. But if there's anything that comes up that you can think of that we can do, or if you're doing an event and you would like the pirates to just show up and support your event, just let us know. Send me an email, let us know. Us pirates will show up and show our support and show that we are very interested in this program being a success all the time. So let us know what we can do. When we do things for Inc., we not only do we give them money, but they also do school supply collections, and we try to help them with that. I think we're working on one with them in conjunction with Staples in June, and we're working with them on that program. So we're going to help them with school supplies. A couple of years ago, the school district actually asked us if we would help, and they needed about 3 dozen backpacks. Well, they got 7 dozen backpacks. We gave them twice as much as they wanted or they needed, so it actually helped a whole lot of other kids. So, and the same with the Humane Society. We can give the Humane Society money, but one of the other things that helps them, and we've done it before, in fact, in 2022, I think we raised about 1,800 pounds of food for the Humane Society. 1,800 pounds of food doesn't last very long, but it still was a help. So we're not just, we don't just want to hand you a check and say, here you go, we're done. We want to be involved if we can. And if there's anything that we can be involved with, all you have to do is let us know.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate that.
I don't know how much help or support you get from other entities in the city. I would expect you probably get some. And the more groups work together, especially to help our fire department, our sheriff's department, and our police departments, the better off we are. And it's, you know, it takes a village, so to speak, and that's basically what you're doing. You're helping shape and mold these young people into becoming really great adults. And from my meeting with almost every one of them that you have, they're well on their way to being great adults. They really are. They were mannerful, they were polite, they were concerned about their job, making sure it was done proper, and they just stepped in and did anything and everything without question. So it was a lot of fun to have them. And there were two boys that were brothers, and their dad was part of the program. Do I have that right? It was their dad that was or is that the boy that's going into the Marines and his dad was there?
That was his dad. Yes.
Okay, very good. See, I can't keep everybody straight, but the things do lodge in my brain, and I do like to make sure that we talk about that. His support, being there as a parent, is extremely important. It's one of the things we talked about over the weekend at the murder mystery with the Seawolf Privateers. Everything they were doing was to raise money for foster children. Kind of what we help do with St. Augustine Youth Services too. So it takes adults to really work together to help bring our children into a real life that shows that they are going to be good adults also. Because every once in a while, we try not to make this a political show in any way, shape, or form, but every once in a while, I just wonder what's going to happen to the world in 20 or 30 years for some of the children that we run into. So this is a great program to mold them. Is there anything that you want to tell us that would bring more interest into the program for all of our listeners? See, I'm going to put you on the spot now because I'm having problems coming up with a good question now.
No, that's okay. I can tell you what you helped supported. Our competition this weekend.
Oh, that's right. We do need to talk about that. That's right.
Yeah.
That was the. Wait a minute. I got it. I wrote it down just so I would make sure I wouldn't get it wrong. The Winter Fire Games.
Yes.
So you had cadets go to this game. So where were the games?
The games were held in Orlando. They rotate every year. So next year we'll be in Tampa. But this year we were in Orlando. We brought 12 kids, and they did great. They actually won 2 trophies in 2 different events.
So give us an idea what some of those events were. What did they do? It's kind of a sporting thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is pretty sporty. They had something called victim rescue. They have to navigate 3 different obstacles and retrieve a mannequin made out of hose. It's about, I don't know, maybe 80 pounds. Maybe, I don't know. Greta, do you know how heavy a hose mannequin might be?
The ones that they use in that competition, I'm not sure.
It's pretty heavy. It's heavier than 50 pounds for sure. And so they have to drag that through the obstacles in a team of 4. When we did it this summer, our time was 3 minutes. And this time it was right around, I want to say a minute 40.
Wow.
Maybe a little longer. I had 2 teams, so I get them mixed up. But we did not place for that, but just their growth was amazing.
So what were the trophies they took then?
We took a trophy in communications. One cadet is a speaker and has a board with 12 golf tees and 4 rubber bands, and the other 3 cadets have to recreate the design on the board without looking, just through They were going to use radios, but I guess the radios didn't happen, so they were just yelling across the room. And they got it 100% correct, which was amazing. So we did a second place for that.
Wow, very good.
Yes. And then we did third place in the firefighter relay. So one cadet had to hoist, one cadet had to roll a hose and fit it through a storage situation, and one cadet had to tie 2 knots, and one cadet had to drag a mannequin feet by crawling on his hands and knees. It's a 150-pound mannequin. That was the hardest thing.
Which one carried the 150-pound mannequin? Which one of the cadets?
So I had 2 teams. One boy was named Mikey, and one was William. Both very strong, very determined young men.
Very good. Well, I mistakenly referred to it as the Winter Fire Olympics Games to a few people when I was talking about it, but it sounds like it kind of is kind of an Olympics game. So there were cadet programs or cadet teams from all over the state?
Yes, and actually 4 from North Carolina.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very good. So who sets this up? Who sponsors it? Is it a state event, or is it a private event that's set up?
It's Cadets falls under the Florida Fire Chiefs Association, which is a statewide program. So it is, I guess, state sponsored sort of through that organization, and 28 went with different counties from all over the state.
Well, it sounds like it was a fun time for the whole crew, and so they were down there on Saturday and Sunday?
Friday night through Sunday.
Very good. Well, I'm glad they did well. For being a brand new cadet program, taking 2 trophies is commendable and
They actually
something to brag about. What's that?
I was gonna say they actually took a trophy through the summer the summer games that was held earlier, and I think the program was 6 months old at that time, and they actually brought a trophy home as well. So
very good. So are these games every 6 months then?
Yes.
yeah, I was gonna say. Then they usually have about 29 teams, give or take. Sometimes it'll be a little bit less. And Tony talked about some of the drills that they do, but they do the victim rescue, the individual rapid dress, the communication, confined space challenge. So there's so many different
Events.
Events to participate in. So they're all really excited about going, and they all do their best, and they're a great group of kids.
So the rolling of the fire hoses aren't light. They're pretty heavy. Do we know the length of the hose they had to roll?
It was a 50-foot section.
See that? I get wore out rolling up my garden hose. I have 2 50-foot garden hoses, and I get wore out running them through. So I can imagine that it is a workout to do one of the larger hoses that the fire department uses. So, well, it's a great program, and you may be wondering, our viewers may be wondering, and then you may be wondering, because I had this thought, whenever we do these programs where we have guests in the show and I'm asking them questions, I don't give you any idea what I'm going to ask, because I don't know what I'm going to ask, because I really want it to, I always want this to be more of a conversational thing and not look like it's scripted, that I read a question and your answer looks like it's scripted. I want it to be natural and more conversational, and I think it's more believable then for people who are watching it, and it's more entertaining too, especially if they're watching Captain Mayhem flub up on a couple of words here and there. That just makes it that much more entertaining. So you've done really well. You've answered all the questions well. We're really proud to be a part of that. The St. Augustine Swashbucklers are very proud to be a part of it. And we have, here's one that I'll ask you. We help do water stations at many of the runs here in town. If you need extra time, community service time for your cadets, and any of the cadets want to come out and help us do that, let me know, because I think we do about 3 or 4 a year. We missed one this past January because we were so busy. We missed the Palencia one, and I'm really sorry we missed that one. But we do Palencia, we do the jail run, we do Pink Up the Pace run. That's 3 that we do all the time. And if your cadets want to be a part of that and help us pass out water, and the best part about it is the runners really do get a big kick out of having the pirates standing there waving flags and cheering them on. And the other good part about it is that we're not just passing out water. We're passing out water-flavored rum. It could be rum-flavored water, but either way, there's no rum involved, but everybody thinks so. So it's a good thing. But we could have the kids come out and be a part of the cadets. It would be a lot of fun to have them. And I really am looking for other ideas that we can do to have them come and be a part of what we do. So
that'd be great.
I'd love to have that. And if you come up with any ideas, you let me know.
Sure, that would sound great. We try to find one organization per month to do service hours with, just to give them that opportunity.
Well, very good. And I'm hoping that if anybody's watching and they know what your program's about, and it's not just the people watching tonight, the show cans and goes right to YouTube, and people can watch the show at any time. And we're getting a viewership of over 7,000 people a week now. So that's a pretty good thing. So maybe somebody will have an idea and say, hey, I could use those cadets. And that's what we hope they might want to do. And they'll call you up. They'll try to get in touch with you. So if they need to get in touch with you, this is a good, easy question for Miss Greta Hall. What's the best way to get in touch with the fire department to talk about the cadets?
I would say, Tony, do you want them to call you directly?
Calling me directly would work fine.
So go ahead and give that number out. Yeah.
Okay.
I bet Mr. Davey will have something popping up on the screen before the end of the program. He's really good about things like that. And now that I put him on the spot, I can see he's thinking. All right, very good. Well, is there anything else you want to close this segment about what you're doing to let everybody know? This is your opportunity to beg, borrow, and steal in some way, shape, or form to support your program. This is, you get the closing words on your program.
Well, we're just really excited to be out there with St. John's Company and helping the kids. If anyone's interested in joining, we have a little bit of a wait list currently, hoping to expand soon though. And just give us a call. The number is 904-209-0338. And it's for 14 to 21 year olds.
All right, very good. 14 to 21 years?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So I'm going to tell you my fire truck story. During the year of COVID, my birthday's in May every year. And in May of 2020, when COVID hit and everybody was shut down and we couldn't do anything, my wife has always done something to surprise me or made my birthday a huge, big deal. So she had to go somewhere that afternoon and then told me I had to go sit on a chair in the driveway, and she had worked out a parade down our street of about 30 cars, and the last 2 cars, one of them was a fire truck.
No.
What?
It was first.
The fire truck was first?
Yes.
The fire truck was first, and then the sheriff's department, they came in and got involved in my parade also. The only part that really, I was flattered, it was really, 35 cars down my street waving flags and everything else. The only thing that was wrong with the whole thing was, there's my wife sitting in the front seat of the fire truck, getting her ride in the fire truck, and I didn't get my ride in the fire truck. So, but it was a lot of fun, and I, gosh, forgive me, Kelly Meacham's husband, he's a firefighter.
Captain Meacham.
What's that?
He's Captain Meacham.
Yes, he was driving the truck. He went out and made sure the truck was brought down at my wife's asking, and I was flattered. And then the sheriff's department came in, and it was really cool. There's your information at the bottom of the screen. I told you Mr. Davey would do it. There is a phone number and an email, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get in touch with the cadets and have them help you out at a program, or just support them in some way, shape, or form? Do you take donations of any type, monetary donations from the community? Are you allowed to? I mean, you must be allowed to, because I'm giving you a $500 check. So,
Greta, you want to take that one?
Well, yes, we've been able to get the acceptance of donations. So every time we're offered that, we just have to go through the right chain to make sure that we do everything the correct way. So, yeah.
So, which will bring probably the last question then. So the financing of the cadet program, is it part of the budget of the fire department? Or is it primarily supposed to be donations in kind then?
A lot of it is fundraising.
Okay.
The fire department does give us some expired fire gear, so they have bunker gear and boots, and helmets, and everything, and help out when they can. Of course, we get to train with the some of the training equipment, which is awesome. Especially some of the metal equipment that we've used, the kids have been really happy with.
Well, I'll send you a list via email of some of these other projects we've got coming up, and let's see, because when are the summer games now? Because that's what you're working towards next, right?
We are. They're going to be held in Gainesville. July 29th is the rumor. It didn't officially come out on the website, but you could say last week of July is probably when it will be.
Well, let's see what we can do about helping you. Is the monetary amount per cadet to go to these things about the same every year?
I don't really know yet since we're so new. This round it was $110 for every cadet to register. That didn't cover, of course, their hotel or anything. That was just to register for the event.
Okay. Well, let's see what we can do to help you out. And
Thank you.
I will do it with energy. So will my crew. We like it. So stay around for a bit. We're going to take a look at our questions and see if anything pops up here in just a minute. But we got a couple of other things we should do. Davey, we now have a new video. We're incorporating 2 new things into the show starting tonight. One of them, instead of doing a week in history, we've decided to break it down, and we're going to do 2 videos every week. One is a week in nautical or pirate history. We won't always find a lot on that, but we're going to do that video first, and then we're going to do a second new segment. So go ahead and throw that one up there, Mr. Davey. Those are pretty good ones, Davey. I like those. Those are really good. Since we are pirates, we're very much into the nautical idea, and here we are in St. Augustine, which is filled with nautical and pirate history. So that's a good one. A new segment we want to try out. I constantly am getting mail from people, most of the time delivered to the Pirate Museum. And I got an envelope about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I thought what we would do is start doing mail call and share a few of these notes and letters that come in. This one is from one of the schools in, of course, I'm going to have to put my glasses on again so I can see what I'm reading. This one came in from Gainesville. Gainesville. So I got a couple here that I wanted to show off. They made some nice cards for us. There. And this one here came from, no name on it. Oh wait, there is a name, and I can't read the writing. Fourth grader though, dear Captain Mayhem, thank you for the tour at the Pirate Museum. It was very fun. My favorite part was the story of, wow, the story of, I should have read this beforehand. Oh, of the fun to have a little cure now theirs. I'm looking forward to coming back. I understood every word of it. Very good. Here's another one. Dear Captain Mayhem. They put a pirate flag on the front of it. Let's see if I can get that up there close so you can see. Very good. Aye, there you go. And this one actually says, Dear Captain Mayhem, thank you for giving us pirate knowledge and reminding us to respect women. My favorite part of the tour was when you showed us the treasure chest. Sincerely, Moses from Norton Elementary School. There you go. I like that part. And to respect women. That's a good one. And then we've got this one here to Captain Mayhem from Isaiah. Our mate. And thank you for the fun tour. And man, I can hardly read their writing. Wait a minute. Maybe if I put some light on the subject here. Thank you for the fun tour and reminding us to respect women. And my favorite thing was a story room. Aye, that would be the Blackbeard room that everybody goes into. So there's a couple of our messages from kids who come to the Pirate Museum and have a good time. And I'll have more. We'll do a couple every week just to kind of split up the videos that we have for you. But at this point in time, Mr. Davey has History of the Week. That's what he's always been doing. So let's show that one off, Mr. Davey. Very good, very good. I've just been going through all of our questions here, or comments. We have some great ones, and I'd like to just say thank you for those that are viewing us from the different places you're viewing us from. For example, Zachary Harker. Davey, am I right? That's Michigan, correct? Zachary's in Michigan. And then there's Jim Nurnefeld. He's there. Beware of floating objects in the sails. They might be the Queen's spies. Yep, she might have balloons floating out there. We got to watch out for balloons. Can't have that. Nightingale in Florida. She's right here in St. Augustine, one of our crew. Danelle Everhart is the crew of the 829 over on the island. And thank you very much for the Valentines there. It was great. You know what? I forgot to mention, the crew of the 829 did a Super Bowl party at the Elks Lodge for all their members and had dinners set up there, and were raising money for their scholarship program. I heard rumors that they did probably $3,000 to $4,000 in money raised for their scholarship program. So that's very, very good. Congratulations on that. I see Adam Lemons is there, all the way from Tampa, one of our crew. Him and his lovely other half are great musicians and play for all of our events. Nightingale in Florida. Remember, Greta, I said I have nurses in my crew? There's one of them right there. Nightingale in Florida. And Ransom Mayhem from over in Panama City. He's actually my real brother, and he's the captain of a crew over there. And let's see. The gift makers make the most effort, cards, candies, and flowers. And Ransom Mayhem says way too much money is being spent. I couldn't agree with you more. Let's see. I feel that, like Zachary Harker's comment, I feel like due to the culture, it is expected for men to dish out more money, while the stress for women to physically prep, from shaving, nails, and hair. Anymore, me and the wife enjoy movie night alone. It's safer that way, Zachary. Much safer. Let's see. And then Jim, he says that it's 50-50 for Valentine's Day because it's their anniversary, and this year is their 43rd. Happy anniversary to you. You can't top that. I'll give you a big cheer on that one. Very, very good. Actually, you should reward your wife for putting up with you for 43 years. That should be the way it should be. But, and then, let's see. There was some other congratulations there for Jim. That's very good. Jim was in the Explorer program. Also provides a pool of candidates. We talked about that one there. He's very right. And then Tony reiterated that for us. It does provide a pool of candidates that you hope will become firefighters. And that's a good thing. And Jim was, for 4 years before going to the police academy and joining the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, he was, as a full-time officer, he was part of that program. And I think I saw something that said that he, let's see, and Nightingale in Florida was part of the Law Enforcement Explorer post from 71 to 73. It was a great experience. So there, you see, what you're doing brings great memories to some of the other people that know what it's all about, and that's a good thing. So we're really good with that. Let's see, what else is there, Davey, that I might have missed? Anything there?
No.
No, just other comments there, here and there. It looks good. Somebody from Facebook has just popped up and said congrats to Commodore. All right, so let me throw this out there. I don't mind the Commodore title. We tried that on me for a while and it just didn't work. And here's why. No ill to anybody. I went back to being captain. I demoted myself. Why? Because kids don't understand what Commodore really means. We have Captain America, Captain Kangaroo, Captain Avenger, Captain Crunch. Everybody knows what a captain is. Nobody knows what a Commodore is. So I demoted myself several years ago, and I prefer to just stay as a captain. Makes it easier. Let's see. Who is Mandy and Jake with they're going on the video? Mandy is our new ship's cartographer, Mr. Ransom Mayhem. She will be a part of our show's crew from now on, helping with the navigation of the online YouTube. We'll be putting out more about that, and then by next week you'll see her wearing pirate gear. And we call her Madcap Mandy until we come up with something better. If we come up with something better, we'll see. But Davey Longwood is the one that came up with that name, so he's kind of particular for it. So we'll see what happens. Mandy actually lives in Utah and has come to St. Augustine for 2 of our pirate festivals. This last one and then the one in 20, I believe it was. Was it 20, Mandy?
Yeah, I was there in 2020 and then again this last year.
This last year. And she has a pirate crew out there in Utah, the Utah Pirates. Who would figure that Utah has any pirates whatsoever, because there's not really a lot of water out there unless you consider the Great Lake of the Salt Lake. So I guess you can float around out there on that. So Ransom Mayhem says you need to come to Panama City Beach Pirate Festival. That's their pirate festival in October. It's actually a lot of fun.
Send me the dates. I'll see what I can do. Jake wants to go with me. He just ran off because he doesn't have his pirate costume, so he was all sad. He's like, no pirate costume, and he ran away.
We can. Where's your daughter?
She's at dance.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good. Oh, a dancing mermaid. That'll be cool. All right. We love that. So there's our comments, ladies and gentlemen. And without your comments and without the fine guests that we have here, we really wouldn't have much of a show, because it would just be me talking, and then the show would only be about 15 minutes long. So unless I had to do magic, which is kind of hard to do when you sliced your hand up. Yep, can't do magic. So what's new on the horizon, Mr. Davey? There it is. We don't have a whole lot right now. We're still working. The sheriff of St. Johns County is supposed to be on the show and keeps getting moved around, and he's a very, very busy man. Davey. There they are. Greta, here's a question for you. Is there any chance that we could get the fire chief on the show at some time down the road?
I don't see any reason why not. We can reach out to me via email, and we can try to get something set up.
Okay. And as you can see, we can do it this way via the videos. But there's an extra chair here, and this is the studio, and we can go ahead and have guests sit in the chair. And if we're bringing the sheriff in, it'd be really cool to bring the chief of police in there, and the chief of the fire department. And maybe we could plan it for a date that's close to something that's important to the fire department.
We totally can set that up. Our interim fire chief is Chief Scott Bullard. He was just appointed in December as our interim fire chief. So he's really excited about getting to the public. So I will be planning events throughout St. Johns County, getting him out, and so that our community can get a chance to meet Chief Bullard. He's a great guy, and he's gonna be great for our department.
Well, good. And maybe we can do something to help you get the word out to the public. As I said, we have viewers. We have a lot of viewers that are quiet, but every show goes into the can and goes onto our YouTube channel, and we're getting 7,000 views a week on all our shows. So people, and we're now doing, that's another thing that Mandy is doing for us now, and she's able to take our shows and cut little bits and pieces of our show out and post those separately, and we can use those for extra advertisement, or we can put them on Facebook, or we can do whatever. And that's one of her jobs, because that's her expertise. She knows what she claims she knows what she's doing. We'll just put it to that and have her help us out. So these interviews like this, we can cut these interviews out and put them in a separate section. And if people just want to see the interview, that's all they have to watch. So I'd love to have the fire chief on. And if he wants to bring a fire truck here, we'll videotape the fire truck coming in. We have a huge driveway on this thing. So, but let's make some fun of it and see what we can do. But let's pick something that might be pertinent to the fire department itself, a date, a month, or something that might be important. And then we'll also probably turn around, and some of the history that Davey does will be the history of fire departments across the country or something. So we try to blend everything with the show. So, but we do history. We do commemorate fallen celebrities, sports heroes, and whatever else. So the show is history, but it's community-based, if that makes any sense. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're becoming popular. So that'll be a good thing. So
definitely reach out. We'll try to get that scheduled.
I will do that.
I've already warned him that he will have a lot of public events coming up really soon, so he's prepared.
So if you, in March, you've got the Celtic Festival and the Seafood Festival. It's probably two great festivals for him to go wandering around and shake hands and talk to everybody. And it would be a good way for, if we don't meet before then, it would be a really great way for him to meet some of my pirates and to meet me. And we have booths at both places. Not to mention fire safety on a pirate ship was the most important. You're absolutely right. We had to be very careful of that. So that might be two events that you think about bringing them out, dragging them around, making them meet the people. Come by our tent, and you can't miss it. We've got plenty of flags out to let you know where Captain Mayhem and the crew is. And bring them around, and we'll take some pictures with him.
Sounds good.
We'll help you out. Very good. So we used to say thank you in several different ways, all one right after the other, and it would take about 15 minutes, and we decided we don't want to do that anymore. And Davey and I worked on a little extra project, and Davey has now put something together. So, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you to every aspect of our show. Take her away.
And actually 425.
425, very good. I'll remake that. And we need to put Mandy in there also on the cast page. And when you get your logo for your cadet program, it'll go on the charity page. Okay. When I first started doing all this pirate stuff with the St. Augustine Swashbucklers in 2007 and 8, a couple of those first years, we were doing about 30 events a year. And it just was wearing everybody out. And it was giving money in so many different directions that the paychecks we were giving out were not noticeable. They didn't do anything yet, if you know what I mean. So we decided to back off, and so we have our Christmas community toy drive, we have Old City Pirate Festival, we have Midsummer Nights, and we have the Halloween Spooktacular. Those 4 events, and it gives us a chance to give a larger check because we only support four charities now, or 4 organizations. And you're now one of them. You're one of the 4. So it gives us a chance to give more money, and more money is better used by what you're going to do. So you are now officially part of our crew.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Hope you like it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, put an email across the bottom there if you would, so everybody can see our email and how they can get in touch with us. Give us suggestions. We're open to anything you want to try on our show. If you're a pirate captain and you want to brag about your crew, why, send us an email. Let's talk about it. If you are a business and you want to be a supporter of our events and our podcast, send me a message. We're now looking for a couple more sponsors to be a part of the show because we have to pay several different fees. We have to pay for the programming, we have to pay for the equipment, and we have to pay for all the music you hear us using. We can't do that. We thought we could get away with it, but no, we can't get away with it. We're pirates, but we got caught. And some of the music we had was not quite copyright free. And YouTube sent us a little shaking of the finger and said, no, 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 pirates. So we had to go onto a program, and now we have to pay a monthly fee for copyright free music. All of this costs money. None of the crew gets paid right now. If we ever get monetized, maybe it'll happen. But for now, all the money goes into this show. And it's a lot of fun. We have a good time, and this is now about our 70th episode, I think, maybe, Davey?
Mm-hmm.
70 episodes, so we've done well. Find us at Captain's Quarters Podcast 21 at gmail.com. We have a Captain's Quarters Podcast Facebook page, Captain's Quarters Podcast YouTube. It's all pretty easy. Captain's Quarters Podcast. Can't say it anymore. There you have it. I think we've had a good show. As I say, if we have a good show, it always goes over an hour, and here we are at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of the show. You're the ones that made the show tonight. I hope that, is there anything else you want to say to close out the show before we close out the show? No?
No, thank you so much for watching.
Shout out to our kids for doing great this past weekend.
Well,
True.
I think, and we you know what we haven't really said, Tony went down there and was the boss and the leader of everything down there, and she did a great job, obviously, because the kids did well. So to you, Tony, a thank you and a congratulations for bringing back a couple of trophies with those cadets. They really are some special young people, and we want to help as much as we can. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we always have a way of signing out every show. We've done it from the very beginning. Mr. Longwood, take it away.
Well, I added something else.
Oh, very good. Uh-oh.
It's Valentine's Day, so...
Just to show you how bad it is.
Hey, Mandy.
We used to use Jib Jab regularly and make a Jib Jab of all the crew. Now, me, being the man I am, I thought, well, Davey pays for a subscription to it. He can make any of those cartoons he wants. But we started putting them on the show and then found out that it doesn't matter if he paid for it. The songs that were being used were still under copyright, so we can't do them anymore. So Davey is going to just put a little couple of things up there without the music. They can't do anything about it for that. And this is how we like to close out the show.
Oh, on our podcast page, I did do a full Jib Jab video of all 5 of us.
Right, on Facebook.
On our podcast page itself.
Okay, very good.
The crew is wishing happy.
Thank you very much. Well, Miss Greta Hall, Miss Tony Alfiero, we thank you very much for being a part of our show. We look forward to working with you again. And I'll send you a schedule of this week, and let's get together and get you that check so you can put it in the bank and do more with those kids, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a great
Davey.
night.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always. We can't do it without you. It takes a crew. We thank you very much. Cheers to all. Good evening.